May the 2nd. And we're here with a handful of incredible creators who are very eloquent talking about their issues with mental health on YouTube. So if we can welcome them to the stage, please can we introduce first Gabby Hanna. And we're also joined by Hannah Witten. Please can we also give it up for Jade in animation. And the one and only Tomska. Okay, I'm going to sit here because we're still waiting for Elle at the minute. It's very
She's on her way.
On a Sunday morning, she's on her way. Good.
That has now been confirmed.
Good. Okay. Well, when she comes, I'm sure you'll all start screaming, and I'll then hop along. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's a really interesting, very pertinent topic, mental health on YouTube, and it seems like it's being talked about an awful lot more. I don't know who wants to start. Maybe Tom, because you've got such a sort of broad history, long history on YouTube. Why do you think we talk about this more now?
Well, as a straight white male, I was getting really jealous of everyone coming out and stuff. So I just made up depression.
You invented depression?
Yeah. Trailblazer. You're welcome. No, I think that I think the point came for me on YouTube where I loved making videos and sharing things, and then I suddenly started realizing that there was a benefit that other people could gain from me sharing things. And I made a video on bullying, which was just like, oh, I got bullied, and that was, I deserved it. And then I had people coming up to me at events being like, oh yeah, your bullying video really helped me feel like I wasn't alone. And I was like, oh wait, I can do that? I can just talk about a thing that happened to me and that can help someone. And then when I developed mental health issues, the same applied, and I feel like that's true for a lot of people, is that it's nice to be able to have that control over a poopy thing, and give it some kind of purpose, which is to provide solidarity to faceless strangers. And then you meet them and they have faces and it's gross.
Speaking of which, I should say all of you have faces and you can ask us questions via Twitter. The hashtag is VidConLDNHealth, so please do fire them in. We'll be asking later on. I mean, have you seen things change, guys, in terms of the conversation around mental health on YouTube? Because it seems to me like it is in society as well as YouTube in general.
I think I've seen it as if it's like a pendulum, like it's kind of swinging back and forth from it being really taboo and there's being loads of stigma around it and no one talking about it, to suddenly lots of quite prominent YouTubers talking about their mental health issues online, and that resonating a lot with the audience, because I think YouTube is often a place where misfits come to like find their people. And then what can often happen is by sharing so much and by giving so much of yourself to your audience, that then actually can potentially make your mental health worse. And so you go from like sharing everything to actually then like retreating back, because it's that balance of sharing stuff that you know will help other people, but then also needing to keep some things for yourself because your mental health should ultimately come first.
Yeah, that online-offline thing is so difficult. I mean, Jane, how did you decide to share with the audience, and why did you do that?
I don't know. I don't even know if I was planning on it, and then I was just like feeling so not good, and I was like, I gotta like address it somehow, and then I made a video about it, and it's still probably the most supported video that I've had, which is like great. And then I was like, oh, people like when you share when you're not doing great, because it becomes like you're a normal person kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask that because we see a version of your lives on YouTube which is probably very different to real life. And I know that I think each of you has spoken in the video about kind of how you have to hide certain aspects. I mean, Gabby, is it difficult to kind of decide where to draw the line between being really open with your viewers and also keeping stuff to yourself, as you say, at the risk of being worsening your mental health?
Well, it should be difficult. Is my microphone way louder than everybody's?
You are echoing.
Do you have microphone number 3?
I do.
Yeah, it just does that.
Oh. Why do you know that?
Yeah.
I think that mine belongs to like a boy band that's gonna sing in the ending show, so they have to have that.
Like Freddie Mercury at Live Aid right now with this mic. There should be a line. Sometimes there isn't, because I'm a very. Sometimes I feel like I overshare because if I don't share it, then it's just stuck inside of me, and then I put stuff out that I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said so much. But ultimately, it's just being honest and real, anyways. But then when people start attacking you for things that you said honestly and making fun of you or trying to diagnose you or saying you're doing it for attention, because that's the biggest thing is people sometimes say like, do you like pretend to have anxiety and depression because you know that it's relatable and you want to be trendy, or you don't know what your brand will be without it and stuff like that? So I don't know. I wish I would have kept some stuff to myself, I guess.
But I guess that's a real tightrope for you all to walk in terms of the reaction, I guess, from people like we have here in the audience will be super positive, but then there must be the balance of you deal with negative comments as well.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? How do you manage to block out the hate?
Oh, you don't. If you're the kind of person that's stupid enough to talk about your mental health on YouTube, you're 100% the kind of person that reads the comments.
That's why our mental health is so bad.
Yeah. and like what you do is you're actually arming the people that can do with the thing that they can do the most damage over sometimes. Like I think sometimes it has the effect where it's like you've taken the power away from the issue, so now no one can really come at you from a fresh angle and really hurt your feelings. But sometimes it can have the opposite effect where you've just given them ammo, like the people that do want to tear you down, that really do dislike you. And like the only way I've found to get around that is to just become absolutely at peace with every part of myself, which is very hard and has been a very steep learning curve. Because yeah, like only when you know everything about yourself and you're already at peace with every mean thing anyone can say, can it not affect you, because otherwise it just will. Yeah.
I think what is helpful for me is everyone has the first like emotional reaction to like something, like whether it's your actual mental health or like a comment or something. And once that like dies down, I feel like a lot of people are impulsive maybe online with mental health and oversharing things. Like someone has a panic attack in the morning, and then they feel like they have to talk about it in the afternoon or something. Well, it doesn't like give you time to like simmer down and think logically about, like, I consider like emotional response is like the first thing that like it makes you pay attention to it, but you have to have like the second logical responsive kind of thing to actually do something with it. So once there's like the emotional reaction of like whatever it is, then you can go at it at a logical standpoint, and then that's how like you can get over it, basically. Like which direction you want to go at it with, like whether you're offended and then you can start working on that, or like it's emotional and it's like, oh, it's just a stupid comment, it doesn't mean anything to me, then it's whatever.
It's easy for you to say. You have to like draw your videos. It takes ages. We're just like put on the camera, hey, I'm an idiot, and then it's online. You're just like drawing yourself. And you're like, wait a minute,
like
I should.
week 3, I'm like,
Have any of you ever posted a video when you've been in a bad state of mental health and then looked back and gone, I wish I hadn't done that?
Well, I privated 3 videos this month. Yeah, all the time. But I think I will say shit that I don't need to say, and then it adds into the narrative that people wanted anyways, and then I'm just like, I shouldn't have said it, and then I'm like over it, I just don't want to look at it anymore. But also I just private it, I don't delete it, because you still want to keep those views, baby.
But I mean, is there a fear that even if you private it, then it's out there, and there's bits of your life that you cannot like get back, I guess?
That's being a YouTuber, I guess. You live and you learn. There's stuff I've said 3 years ago that I wish I wouldn't have said. And there's stuff I said yesterday that I wish I wouldn't have said, but it's out there. You just gotta hope that you don't get completely kicked off the internet, because I could never get a real job now.
Radical transparency and the issues behind it. I mean, how much does the algorithm play into this? Like, in terms of exacerbating issues that you maybe already have, and also, like, feeling the need to constantly post when you don't really want to?
That's the worst. That's yikes. It's so bad. I've talked about that before, where sometimes you just need a minute to disappear. Like, you feel like you want to be a little secluded, and then you have to put out a video, and then sometimes it comes out really forced and obnoxious, and then sometimes you come out really sad, and it's realistically you should have just not posted, but the algorithm really does kind of fuck you over. Like, I didn't post for the first time in, I think, over 4 years, for 2 weeks in a row, and as soon as I came back, my views were already different, because I hadn't posted for 2 weeks. So, yeah, by half, until, like, now it's picking up again, but they really do punish you if you don't post consistently.
I don't think I have too much of a, I don't know what's up with me and the algorithm, because everything that we do shouldn't work technically. It's like animation, I post like once a month. I don't have anything to say, that's a different...
Just a humble brag.
I think, in terms of mental health and the algorithm, I guess, I think that as long as you post something that you are like proud of, or like it's just something that you honestly feel like is needed to say, then people will pay attention to it and it'll get the attention it needs.
Yeah, a lot of people like seem to, this now we're talking about the YouTube algorithm, but a lot of people are like, I don't get it, I'm posting shitty videos every week like the algorithm wants, but people hate them. And it's like, yeah, because real people have to watch these shitty videos you're releasing every single week. Like, yeah, do take more time and pride in it. Like, I think it doesn't surprise me that works. I think there's always been a place for quality over quantity on YouTube. I mean, there's a place for both.
I think the worst way the algorithm plays into mental health, though, is that the algorithm highly favors drama videos, bashing videos. Like, there's somebody who did a video of me where he was like bashing me. The kid gets like 100,000 views a video, it has millions of views. He posts one where he's actually saying nice things about me and it has 100,000 views. Same guy talking about me, one's negative, millions of views, one's positive, 100,000 views. So YouTube favors and like pushes that content because people are into drama, so that people start making more drama videos, and now the platform has turned into who can we tear down, who can we expose, who can we make fun of, and then that's the shit that gets rewarded. And then the people who are on the brunt of it have to deal with the repercussions, you know what I mean? Like, people forget that we're humans. So it's fun to sit behind your computer and be like, I'm gonna make a commentary video, and nobody's actually like doing research, they're just regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over because that's what does well. And you can't even blame them, because that's just the human condition. Like, we are mentally conditioned to do things that give us the highest reward. So on some level, you have to accept that that's just basic psychology, but on another level, where's your humanity? Like, we're people.
Well, sorry, I'm sorry. One day you'll speak again.
I'm fine.
Maybe you could like make Hannah say something. No pressure. Well, just kind of talking about like the embarrassing discrepancy of views. Like, we're epidemic of that in we make videos about our poor mental health, and they get millions of views. And these videos are us saying we're struggling, and people like that, and therefore it gets algorithmically promoted. But then actual mental health experts will come along and make a video like advising on these issues, and those get no views. Like, the reason this auditorium is so full of people is because we're up here and we're the opposite of experts. If this was actually a panel of therapists, there'd be 7 people here, and they'd probably be us going, help me. And that's a shame, because, you know, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. But it's entertainment, right? Like, it's about entertainment. We are reality television. So people are watching because they want drama. That's, you know, if you turned on Jersey Shore and everybody was just sitting around being happy and not doing anything, you wouldn't watch. So people get onto YouTube because they want that. People are watching drama channels because they want to read the tabloids on their favorite celebrities, which are YouTubers. So it makes sense.
Well, that's the dark part of it. But I think that the kind of people in this audience, the people that will choose to wake up at 10 in the fucking morning on a Sunday, ouch, to come to this panel are not people that are like, yeah, let's watch them be sad. They're people who are probably watching our videos and seeing our pain, and they're resonating with that, and they're coming here because they want to know how we keep going every day. And I don't know. Is there a therapist anywhere in the room, like, that can be like, hey guys, so here's what you're supposed to do?
It's a spare seat.
Yeah, there is. It's going to appear in about 5 minutes. Well, I was going to ask you about that. In terms of, do you feel responsibility to your audience to try and help support them through mental health, like leading by example, by being open and saying, this is how I deal with it, and if you feel this way, then you should absolutely get like actual proper help from a doctor first, but by being open about what you do. I mean, I'm thinking, I know you've had, physical health issues and been very open about that and how it's affected your mental health. Do you kind of see that as being a role model in describing how you've gone through it to try and help others?
So for me, with going through like the medical, physical health problems I've had the last year, it was kind of like the same thing. Like, people love the drama. Like, I hadn't uploaded videos whilst I was in hospital, and then I come back thinking, oh, the algorithm's going to punish me. This is the beginning of the end of my career. And then I make a video like, I spent 4 weeks in hospital. This is what happened, and it's like views. I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. But yeah, I've been a lot more open about like the actual just like facts of it, of like my physical health, of like, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me, and then I had this surgery and this test and this thing physically happened to me. And I've talked a little about how that's affected me mentally, but actually it's not something that I've really gone into because I don't want to, because that's for me, and also because I haven't really had a chance to properly process that myself, and I just don't think it would be necessarily very responsible of me to start saying things that happened to me during that time mentally, because I'm not cool with it, basically. But the reason why I started making those videos was just because I felt like I had to kind of explain what had happened. And that's why it was just like, and then this happened, and then this day I went to A&E, and then this day I got admitted to sit, like, da, da, da. And for me, it was like that was a part of my healing process of like feeling quote unquote normal again, and like getting back, because for ages I couldn't work. I was like so unmotivated. Like, whilst I was in recovery, I just was really fatigued all the time, so I just couldn't do the same amount of stuff I did. And my identity is based on like working loads and being really productive, and so suddenly I couldn't be that, and I was like, who am I now that I don't have my productivity? But yeah, it has helped a lot of people who have like similar conditions to me, if they've got IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease, or if they have a stoma bag. That's helped, but that's not why I did it in the first place. Because actually, this was something that I was going through, and there were lots of people online who were like 8, 10, 20 years ahead of me in their process of having a stoma bag, and actually hearing their stories was helping me. I don't know. It's like this like give and take, I think.
Well, touching on what you also said about that responsibility and telling people to get help, I think that's really the only thing we can do responsibly. I mean, we can make videos talking about our experiences, but at the end of the day, like as Gabby said, those are entertainment in a fucked up way. Sorry, I have a foul mouth. Parents. But that's really the best they can be, because it would be irresponsible of us. And I think we all feel this need. I think that's where a lot of YouTubers slip up. I've done so myself, where it's like, hey, I'm a little crazy, but here's how to get better. And then we're back 2 months later like, just kidding, I'm still crazy. So I think that the only responsible things we can do is share our stories, and then encourage people, if they're feeling the same kind of way, to speak to an expert. Because yeah, when we start actually giving out medical advice, and opening that door and changing the dynamic of a creator and an audience relationship to one of therapy and a medical professional. Ooh,
Yeah, no, that's super dangerous. I think, like, I've often gotten, like, really quite heavy personal messages of people seeking help, especially because I make sex and relationships education content, so that lends itself to some really heavy topics of people asking for advice, and I have to, it's really difficult, but I've made the conscious decision that I just have to ignore those, because, and I imagine it's the same with some of you, like you open up about mental health and then that lends itself to some really heavy topics and people are reaching out to you because you, to your audience, seem like the only person in their life that they can talk to about these things. And if you reply to them, suddenly you've become a dependent for them, and then that back and forth, what about one day you can't reply? And what happens on their side of that? Like suddenly you were there for them, suddenly they could start to depend on you, they knew that you would be giving them attention, and then one day you don't, so
yeah. That's not healthy for anyone involved. It's not healthy for you, because now you have the responsibility of somebody else's health or mental health issues. It's not healthy for them, because now they're relying on somebody who is not a professional and does not know how to seek that advice. So actually take that as a note, as anybody in the audience who, like, if you're DMing your favorite creator, like, I'm going through something, like, we care about you so much, but if we don't respond, don't take it as we don't care about you. It's just not responsible or fair to anybody for us to take that on.
We don't reply because we care about you, and because that's actually not what is best for that situation at all. The most that I would do is signpost someone, like, look at this website, this is information. That's like the absolute most I would do.
Who would you signpost people to? In terms of either on the platform we do have some underviewed creators who are actual professionals in this, and then also, you know, health services and things like that. Who would you say is useful to go to?
Yeah, mostly just like charities, health services, check out Mind, NSPCC, Brooke for sex and relationships stuff. There's so many. I think if you're someone who has a following online and you start to talk about heavy topics, heavy issues, make sure that you have resources of books, links, websites, like in your back pocket for those moments when someone asks you a question. You can be like, this is a really great resource, check this out.
And if you are a creator who wants to actually make videos that are going to be helpful to your audience, and you do want to give out, you know, some sort of solutions, work with a professional. You know, ideally, you know, bring in a professional and yeah, signpost their content. Yeah, like I work with a few medical professionals to actually say the right things, and you know, I've written videos and I've sent the scripts over to them and had them approved by multiple different people or given notes on, and that's the only way that I can make something that's going to be beneficial, that isn't woefully dangerous.
Does YouTube help at all as a company in terms of your mental health? I mean, I know that they have things that are meant to be supporting creators. Do they ever reach out to you in terms of, can you talk to your partner managers?
About YouTube stuff, yeah, like, you know, about like the things that may be worrying you, like your views and your channel, but ultimately it's super duper not their job. Like, they are just a platform where you put the videos. Their job is to take the video, show people the video, and talk to advertisers to get ads on the videos. Like, anything else is, yeah, totally not their job. What's happening?
Sometimes I just feel like I have to stretch.
Cool. Don't want to get that deep vein thrombosis.
I saw Patrick Starr do this on the LGBT panel yesterday. It was amazing. I was going to ask each of you, do you think that YouTube has had a positive or a positive or a negative effect on your mental health?
It's poisoned my brain. Is that dramatic? Me? Dramatic? Wait, has anybody had a positive mental health experience from YouTube?
Even, I mean, from like, you know, it could be a commenter reaching out and saying something nice and you thinking, oh, actually, yeah, this is providing me with some support or something like that.
I think it's helped me become a lot stronger and like confident person. Like when I started, I was like, I talked to no one, and now I'm like sitting here and I'm not like freaking out about it. I also kind of don't care anymore. I think that I've learned a lot about myself through YouTube, and I think just like meeting people through YouTube, I've learned a lot from, and I've had like relationships, well, not relationships, but like friendships and like colleagues and stuff. I've learned a lot from them and our like back and forth relationship kind of thing, and that's all helped me become much stronger, and I've learned a lot about myself that I would have learned eventually, but it's been sped up because I've been exposed to so many different types of people because of YouTube.
I want to amend my first statement. There is a lot of positive, like, but my problem with YouTube is I feel like my personal worth is directly tethered to what's happening online. So when it's great, it's great. Like when the internet loves me, they're like rallying behind me. They're getting me to like #1 on iTunes. They're like putting me on the Billboard charts. They're saying like, you're so great, like, ugh, and like they're hyping me so much. And then that's when it's like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I have all these people who support me and want me to do well. But then when you get a little too far, then people start knocking you down. And it's always an extreme where it's like, everybody loves me or everybody hates me. And then it's I either love myself or I hate myself, because I'm a very sensitive person who's like feeding off of the energy of what's around me.
When it comes to that kind of thing, I always remember there's something that Bo Burnham said, which is like, haters gonna hate, lovers gonna love. You have to disregard both ends of the spectrum, and it leaves you a nice, healthy.
We love Bo. Oh my God, I saw him on the street the other day and he went, hey Gab. He tapped my shoulder, he went, hey Gab, what's up?
I'm so jealous.
All those years of stalking.
I don't have a time machine, so I can't kill Hitler. I don't have a time machine, so I can't say what the effects of YouTube have been ultimately on my mental health. I can tell there's definitely been points where it's exacerbated issues, and parts of it wouldn't have occurred if I didn't have my life so in the public eye. So I can't really say definitively personally what the effect is, but I can say that if I hadn't been making videos about mental health, there are people out there that would not have ever learned or ever had the confidence or to get help themselves. So the positive effect is every person that comes up to me, you don't have to, but and says like, oh, from watching your video talking about this issue, I recognized some symptoms in myself. I went to get mental health, and I took those steps, and I'm now doing much better. That is objectively a positive thing that came out of talking about my own issues. So for me, it's a neutral impact. I don't know, but for other people, I know that good has come from it, and that does make it infinitely worth it. And that was the goal at the start when I started sharing any issue, was to make something good out of something that's ultimately just going to happen to me anyway, and that's dope.
I want to get some questions from the audience, and this is a really interesting one from Inga, which I'm happy if you don't want to answer this and be open about it, but she asked, do you have any therapists yourselves? Do you have offline therapy to try and help deal with mental health issues?
I do, yeah. I always talk about therapists. It's my favorite joke to make is something about my therapist. I highly recommend it to everybody, even if you're like pretty good, I would still say go, because there's always something you can kind of dig into and talk about. And it really all comes back to your fucking mother. It really does. Like, you think that's a joke, but it's real.
I've done a lot of different like therapy kind of things. Of course, I've had like eating disorder stuff. I haven't been like private about that. I went to a nutritionalist. I went to a psychiatrist. I've gone to therapy. I'm not seeing anyone right now, but I'm like, when I get back from this, I'm looking for like a casual therapist, because even though mental health and physical health is like, they're different, but they're like the same, because you gotta maintain both, like even if you're good, like even if like, I don't know, you still gotta maintain both, even if they're fine, basically. You don't have to wait and like, you don't have to, like, if your wrist hurts, you don't have to like wait until it's broken for you to be like, oh yeah, I should go to the hospital.
You're talking about, you're American, that's exactly what you have to do.
Yeah, but I think even, it's just a good like safety net kind of thing. It's good to maintain.
And I guess personal relationships offline are really helpful for that. I mean, there was another question that we had about what if you are someone who has either a friend or a family member who is going through mental health problems, what should you and shouldn't you say to them?
Can I vlog this?
That's the
You
trend.
should
You
say
don't
that.
say
Don't.
Oh, no, views.
My sister has a mental health breakdown.
I don't know.
I think that you do the same with anyone. You have, well, the only thing you can really do, I think, with anyone who has mental health issues is, well, not enable any destructive coping mechanisms they have. In my case, food and alcohol. I wish that were like a punchline. But so yeah, just not enable them in that regard. Let them know that you're absolutely there for them. You will help them get help if they need. You will go to a doctor with them. You can help book them an appointment. You keep them company and all that stuff. And that's it. I think there have been people in my life that have been real mixed up and have refused to get help, and I've eventually had to distance myself from them because it's not my job, and it's making my mental health worse. Taking responsibility for them. Ultimately, everyone is responsible for themselves, and you can wind up worse off than someone else worrying about them. So it's a horrible and ugly truth, but it's, well, for me, I mean, feel free to disagree.
Oh no, like that's, I went through one of my most lowest points because I was putting a lot of energy into someone that was just taking it, and they were obviously in dealing with their own mental health, but it was better for me. I immediately started working on myself after that, and I've been doing the best since then. So responsibility shouldn't be assigned to you, kind of thing,
And I've also done the other side. I've been the person who has drained people and had a negative effect on their mental health, and they have walked away from me. And that's how I know, it's not their job. But it's so much easier to just unload on your friend because you have to book an appointment with them, I guess.
Can you win those relationships back?
I haven't really tried. And they live on the other side of London now.
The team's terrible.
You kind of do have to book appointments with friends when you live on the other side of London.
As a creator, how do you know when the issues are happening to you, and how do you kind of tell that you need to take a step back from creating videos, personally?
After you've made the video, usually. It's yeah. I find that when I'm in a really bad place, I'll only clock what's happening when it's too late. It's I've done the video now and I've said the thing. Gabby, you can relate. Great. Yeah, slowly. There is a real art to realizing when you're spiraling. It's okay. Because you have to know your own patterns at the earliest stages, from just irritability, onwards.
And what do you do when that happens? How do you take yourself out of that to try and tackle it?
I wouldn't be on this panel if I did the right things. People wouldn't know that I have mental health issues.
So where do we go from here then in terms of...
We just turn off our phones.
Oh God.
Turn off our phones, delete our channels.
You imagine?
What, turning off your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, because you're the one here.
Because I'm the only, sane one here.
Oh, yeah.
So I do turn off my phone.
Yeah, Anna, what do you, how? Explain. Please detail your healthy coping mechanisms, because as the quote-unquote neurotypical among us, I do that, but that is the term you're supposed to use.
Did you say neurotypical?
Yeah.
I would say normal.
Whoa,
really
I've
bad.
never heard that word in my life.
Yeah. So as the non-loony, what are your healthy coping mechanisms that have helped you through tough times stave off this?
most of the time it's like walking away from the internet and hanging out with people who like me in real life. Yeah. You're like, who?
No, I was deranged before the internet, so I don't know. I think some people are just weird, and some people are normal. But what's like? I feel like more people are fucked up than not, right? Right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Raise your hand if you're fucked up. I'm just curious. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Who would like consider themselves like normal? Don't be shy. Whoa, we got like a
I love
solid
it. It's really confident
seven.
normals.
Tight. Congratulations. They have good mothers.
Hannah, based on what you said, can you take the flip side of that? And Jane, who's in the audience, has asked, does meeting other creators who have also spoken out about mental health issues kind of help? Because they may not have gone through the exact same thing, but they can kind of relate in terms of the lifestyle and the pressures that are involved.
I mean, my experience is with physical health issues, and for me, like searching for other, specifically young women, like I needed to be able to like identify with people who are like me. So it was like young women who have had to have surgery to have stoma bags. That to me was amazing and like kind of what really helped me through adjusting to like my new life, my new body, and like I don't know, just finding people who had gone through it and similar age to me and how they've dealt with it. And I imagine it's quite similar with like mental health stuff too. But like for me, those two things, like my physical health and my mental health, like connected to that, so intertwined. Yeah.
There's another question from Chris Lamb, who says that selfishness is generally considered like a negative thing, but how do you broach that conversation when you need time away, you know, whether it's from friends or from YouTube or something else? Like, how do you get over the sort of sense of feeling like you're being too selfish and trying to improve your own mental health?
I feel like if you've got good friends and people around you, they'd understand. And I think it's about like having it being an open dialogue and an ongoing conversation, and that will help for when that moment comes when you're like, actually, I don't want to like go out, you will go out for dinner or whatever it is tonight. I don't want to hang out. I just need some time alone. When that then happens, they're like, cool, totally get it, fine.
Yeah, ultimately, it's not selfish to want the best for yourself. I always like, I'm gonna talk about it eventually in a video, but I always think like, you're kind of like your own ecosystem and you have to like maintain yourself, and if there's like something polluting it, then you gotta kick it out kind of thing. And you gotta like step back and figure out like what's best for you. We can't do that for other people because that's their responsibility. Like no one's gonna look after you but yourself. So honestly, it's not selfish, it's just, like as much as it feels like it's selfish because you always feel like you have to like give to people, you have to give to yourself, really.
Do any of you find it easier to talk about mental health issues on YouTube than you do with family and friends, or is it the flip side?
Oh, 100%.
Wait, which one do you find easier?
To talk to a camera.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I started. Is one of the reasons is it was like I was so like I made a video kind of that launched this whole conversation for me called "I Am Depressed," and it was after I'd gone to a therapist and been formally diagnosed, and the idea of individually sitting down every person I knew and just like letting them in on that was so scary. But just look at that little Cyclops monolith camera thing was so easy to just throw it out there and know it would trickle down to everyone else. So that's how it really started.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah, well, you're saying.
Well, I don't know, but it comes back to what I said before, is that I'm like not ready to share what's happened to me mentally. I'm not ready. But my friends know, and like my partner knows, and my parents know, and that's something that I talk to them about. And like when I have like bad days and stuff, because for me it's like I've not been formally diagnosed with any mental health issue, but like what I went through last year was really traumatic, and so it's like I have trauma, but I don't have PTSD. So I'm not like, but the thing is I don't want to get PTSD. So I'm trying to figure out how to process everything. So I stay neurologically typical.
I think I do make a lot. I've been making a lot of jokes about your mental health, like just in jest. But please,
Yeah.
you can be crazy if you want. It's cool.
No, I mean.
But that's such a common thing. What you just touched on there. Like you don't want to have PTSD. You don't want to get diagnosed. And that's somewhere that I was before I went to get a diagnosis. I think that's true of a lot of people when they have any sort of health scare. Is that if they go to the doctor, if it gets diagnosed, it's real. And it's
Well, I don't have any symptoms, so.
Sure, yeah. But I mean,
But I don't want us to
go.
develop them. Because friends of mine who have gone through like a medical health crisis and then not dealt with the mental repercussions of that, have then like years later developed PTSD. So me knowing that, like, you know, it's like, I go through this, so you don't have to. So my friends have gone through this, so I don't have to. So now I'm in a place where I'm equipped with more information than they were at the time. But yeah, when I'm having like tricky times, it's like messaging my parents or messaging my friends. Just because I don't know, I just don't feel like I really understand what's happening or anything, so I don't want to talk about it.
I actually just said something about this on either my vlog or my secret second Twitter or something, where I went on a rant about like, dude, it's so psycho that I will say something to a camera and then post it to millions of strangers that I would never say to a friend. Like if I'm driving down the street and I'm crying in my car, I'll try to cover my face so like a stranger won't see me crying, will never see me. And like I'll try to hide that from the world where it's like that person's gonna drive by, it doesn't matter. But like I would be so embarrassed if somebody saw that. But then I will post the video of me crying in my car to the internet. It makes no sense. And then sometimes I forget that like my real life people will see the video. So like I'm not like close or open with my family, but like sometimes they'll send me a text being like, I saw your video, I thought, I was feeling like something was wrong, I hope you're okay. And then I'm like so mortally embarrassed that my like aunt saw the video of me being upset. And I'm just like, well duh, what the fuck did I think was gonna happen? But I don't know, I just feel so much, I don't know, it probably has to do with my mother or something.
Well, you've said it here now.
It's the anonymity of it though, because you're not.
But what anonymity?
Like you're not having to picture during that process of you like filming that and then putting it on the internet, you weren't picturing your aunt.
Yeah.
You were just like.
But like I have no anonymity. That's why it's so weird. It's like I know that all of these people, you know who I am, you know my story, you know essentially where I live, you've been watching me for years, and like I'm just telling you all this like personal shit about myself. It's so weird.
I think it's just the face-to-face aspect, like sharing something and getting the immediate facial reaction to like, oh, that's like the problem with just doing that online. People are just typing. You don't know their face, you can be like,
But it's still so weird. Like I did it over Vlogmas. I had so many weird breakdowns over Vlogmas. But I like had an anxiety attack, was vlogging that day, vlogged it, edited it, watched it back, filmed an outro for it, and then uploaded it. And like that was the least human thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I was just like, okay, I should stop vlogging then, right? Because that's weird.
The whole like, haha, I'm gonna make jokes about fucking killing myself thing is so endemic of millennials and Gen Z because, yeah, we can just do that. We can just make a joke about wanting to die and just.
Oh,
write
I
it,
can't.
say
I
it
lose
on
all my
camera.
followers. You guys can make suicide jokes? Okay, I can't. I feel like I'd get reamed. But I have
It's like, yeah, like we can do that, and we can have this really dark sense of humor, or at least that's what we say it is, because we won't have the immediate reaction of our mother looking at us going, what? Yeah, it's not great.
Does it help to mediate it through comedy or animation or making jokes? Does that help like detach you from the issue that you're feeling?
Wait, say it again?
Does mediating that discussion through animation, through comedy help? Like,
Yeah, I think lately I've been trying to do more like conversational kind of videos instead of like, oh, school stories. And the fact that it goes through so many layers, like it goes through script writing, it goes through like, I send the script to all my friends and they say, oh, like, good idea, or like, oh, take that out. and then I sit on it for 3 weeks, like animating every frame. I think, wait, where was I going with this?
Like the animation thing, does it help you process
Yeah,
it?
I think it helps. I think also my goal has been, I think there's been a lack of digestible mental health topics. Like it's either like I'm fine, or like everything's all fun, or everything's horrible. So I think like I've been wanting to tackle topics like anxiety or burnout in an entertainable way where people who maybe don't struggle with it are like, oh yeah, this is just fun information. It was like enjoyable to watch, and people who relate to it can relate to it. So I think that there needs to be more of a middle ground. So like it merges the two communities together. People who are like, oh, mental health is all just sad people, and people are like, I'm sad, kind of thing. So that's what I've been trying to do that, and I enjoy it a lot. So I think that's been helpful.
Being sad. Bad joke, didn't land.
What?
Move on.
We do have to move on because we are basically near the end of our time.
Oh my God, it's Elle Mills. No.
They all got really excited. Now we're going to end this on like a massive deflating note. If there's one, I want to just ask really quickly, if there's one bit of advice that you could give your younger selves, knowing now what you do, what would it be in terms of mental health?
Delete Vine off your phone. Go. It's not worth it. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Not landing today. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, man.
I would say for me, I hid so much. I'm still such an angry person, but I used to put a lot of sadness out in anger because I was too embarrassed to admit that I was sad or hurt. So I would do more like angry things and like lashing out. And I probably was like that up until like 4 years ago. So I think my biggest note would be, it's okay to be sad, acknowledge that you're sad, process why you're sad, find people to talk about being sad, or else it's gonna come out in really toxic ways.
For me, I just say like, hey, just go to bed for 2013. Don't do that. Yeah, man. Don't unload everything you're feeling live online and make a real tit of yourself, because that was like how my like real low fall manifests itself, was in oversharing excessively. So yeah, I would just say do talk to real people. Don't just jump in front of a camera or jump on Twitter, because you're gonna handle this poorly. You're gonna have a negative impact on strangers and the ones you love and yourself. So yeah, talk to a human idiot. Yeah.
That seems like as good advice as any, I think, unless, do you want to add anything, Jane?
I think just like put energy into yourself. Don't worry about having to be there for other people, kind of thing.
I was just going to say, like, ask me again in 5 years, I'll let you know.
Exactly, because this is the thing, it isn't a story with a start and an end, it's something continually going, and having this conversation I think really helps, and there's some research going on. I know there's a guy called Trenton Lee at the University of Westminster who's researching mental health on YouTube and surveys and things, so doing things like this really helps. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences, guys, and please, can we give it up for these guys? I think there is a workshop happening, I believe it's in the community section upstairs at some point in about an hour or two, which you can also use to discuss a little bit more about mental health and so on. So please do check that out. Thank you so much, guys.
Sorry about all the insensitive language. We say it with love. You're not really psychos.